And then there were none. My father-in-law passed away 14 months ago, my mother-in-law 3 months ago. And this week we laid my father to rest. In some ways it was a blessing. Dementia, one of the cruelest diseases, had already taken so much from him. I feel like he passed away a long time ago. This video is not about my customary retirement planning topics. It's about life, about what happens when you watch an entire generation fade away so quickly, about what you learn when you see the end up close, the regrets, the unfinished business, the things they wish they had done differently, and yes, the things we wish they had done differently. Grief is heavy, but also a wonderful teacher. Welcome to the Retirement Guy channel. My name's Daryl Rose, and my firm helps people all over the country plan for and enjoy retirement. These last 14 months have taught me a lot. And if I can take these lessons and shape the next 20 years of my own life, then maybe, just maybe, I can build upon their lives. If I can share these lessons with you, even better. If you think that I am wrong about something, like perhaps my third point, or even occasionally right about something, or anything, please let me know in the comments. If you're one of those bots who spams me only every video I make, please leave me alone. The first thing is a natural, spending more money, especially when you're younger and healthier. Most people spend cautiously in retirement, too cautiously. They assume they'll need every dollar, every last dollar until the very end, but here's the hard truth. Many don't make it that far, and those who do often don't have the health to really fully enjoy it. My father, he worked into his 70s. He had enough money, but he was still worried about running out. He took a few big trips, did a few things when he was younger and healthier, but he didn't splurge on the experiences that he really wanted to later on in his life. It was the same for my in-laws. See, the thing is, before long, it gets too late. I cannot tell you how many families I've helped that want to do more. They want to experience more, but inevitably run into a brick wall. They get sick, and even if it's not life-threatening, it's time-threatening, meaning their ability to do things changes because they have to get their blood drawn or see a specialist or something else, or their desire to do stuff just dims. This isn't just my personal experience. A study from United Income found that most retirees spend far less than they can afford to in their early years of retirement. Their biggest regrets, the regrets that eat at them, not enjoying life while they were still active. I don't want that to be me. The lesson, spend more while you can. Take the trip. Buy the expensive bottle of wine to enjoy with a loved one. Make the memories while you're still young enough, healthy enough to enjoy them. It doesn't have to be extravagant. I have a client, a friend of moderate means, who just hires a cleaning crew every couple of weeks. While her house is being cleaned, she takes a leisurely walk in the forest preserve with a dear friend of hers. That's enough for her. Time, not money, is your most valuable resource. Second thing is to do what makes you happy while you still can. We always think we have more time until one day we don't. There's a famous Harvard study spanning 80 years that found that true happiness doesn't come from money or status. It comes from meaningful experiences and relationships. The people who prioritize joy and connection lived far longer and healthier lives. The hard truth, if you keep putting things off, you may never get to them. If something brings you joy, do it now. I tell you what I want to do. Just ask Jill and the boys, because it's really all I talk about. Escaping Chicago for part of the winter. Feeling the warmth of the sun on my skin, SPF 1000, of course. Slowing down a little, riding my bike. This morning at the grocery store, I realized something. The way I scan bananas is a perfect metaphor for my life. When you weigh the produce, you have to wait a second for the register to process. But I never do because I move too quickly. I always have. I toss the bananas right in the bag, triggering the security system every single time. It's not because I'm trying to steal bananas, as far as you know. It's because I don't stop long enough to let things register. And if I've learned anything over the past 14 months, it's this. I need to slow down. Anyone else feel this way? The next point might be controversial. Choose your partners carefully, especially if you marry later in life. Is this a little provocative? Maybe, but it's how I feel. My dad remarried years after my mom passed away in 1985. I won't go into all the details, but I'll say this. His new wife was never truly invested in our family. And because of that, his relationship with us, his adult children and grandchildren suffered. They just did. And I've always believed that for us Neanderthal men, a woman can make you either better or worse. My wife and her family made me better. Well, sort of. The woman my father married, she made him worse. Look, Love is love. And I'm glad my dad had companionship in most of his later years. But here's the brutal truth. She left him when his dementia worsened. Yes, that's what I said. Facts are facts. Late in life, marriages can be wonderful, but they also can bring complications. Family rifts, inheritance battles, resentment. And when a new spouse has different priorities, it can leave adult children feeling pushed aside. This isn't just personal experience, it's backed by research. In 2022, a study from the Journal of Marriage and Family found that adult children often feel disconnected from parents who remarry later in life, especially if finances aren't openly discussed. So if you remarry later in life, be honest about expectations, talk to your kids, make sure family bonds are strong, because when you're gone, that's what truly matters. Okay, let's move on to the fourth point. Clean your house of all the clutter. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for the children. So Jill and her sister Heidi have spent months cleaning out their parents' home. 50 years of belongings, memories, and quite frankly, a lot of stuff. My in-laws weren't hoarders by any stretch, but they didn't discard anything either over all the decades. It's been physically and emotionally draining and exhausting for the girls. The sad part, the things that Jill and Heidi actually cherished, the clothing, the jewelry, the little treasures, were items their mother no longer used in her later years. Wouldn't she have loved seeing them wear her scarves or a favorite pair of earrings while she was still here? I think so. I hope so. And then there's my father-in-law stuff, decades of business records dating back to the 70s, tax returns, files, stacked in the basement like some sort of archive no one ever intended to visit ever again. Now, my dad's situation, a little bit different. He lived in a memory care unit, not a house. Just this morning, 3 days after he passed away, I hired someone for $300 to box everything up and donate it. We took a few meaningful items, of course, but the rest went to people who need it more. It was so much easier. Here's the reality. The average American home contains 300,000 items. That's 300,000 things someone like your kids, your loved ones will have to deal with someday. I don't want to put my kids through that. The solution? Start decluttering now. There's actually a name for this, Swedish death clean. Yes, it's a real thing. It's the practice of gradually getting rid of things so your loved ones don't have to. Ask yourself, would my kids want this? Do I even use this anymore? Does it bring me joy? Is it worth the space it takes up? Less stuff equals less stress for you, for them, for everyone. Point number 5 is to convert your retirement accounts if you like your children. So my in-laws missed a golden opportunity to save the family a ton of tax money by not understanding that tax brackets are like an asset. If you have money in tax-deferred accounts like a traditional IRA or 401k, you'll pay taxes when you withdraw. But here's the catch. If you don't convert that money while your tax bracket is lower, like it might be later in life, your kids will have to withdraw it later at their potentially much higher tax rates. That means less money for them and a bigger tip for the IRS. A simple Roth conversion can help. By converting traditional IRA money to a Roth IRA while you're in a lower tax bracket, you pay the taxes now, but your kids get tax-free withdrawals later. According to a 2023 Vanguard study, Roth conversions can significantly reduce the tax burden on heirs, yet most retirees don't do them, and their kids pay the price. I tell people all the time, if you convert, yes, you will feel like you have less money because of the taxes paid, but your family actually has more. The bottom line, plan ahead. The IRS already takes enough. This helps your children, but only do it if they're nice to you. Boys, are you listening? Lastly, involve your children in your finances. Open your books, give up a little control, and involve your children in your financial picture. I have a great buddy whose father-in-law, despite being in his late 80s, is still actively investing with his accounts everywhere. I mean, his accounts everywhere. And it's certainly his right. It will eventually fall to my friend to untangle it all, making the inheritance process and the estate process far more complex than it needs to be. This situation is not unusual. In The Lasting Impact of Positive Leadership, author Stan Toller explains that finances can feel deeply private, and discussing them can seem like surrendering independence. For many, money talk means acknowledging their mortality. It's a naturally uncomfortable topic. Here are some ways to ease the process. Think about being transparent. It's hard enough to handle the loss of a loved one without trying to unravel their finances. With my boys, I try to share our information as regularly as possible so everyone is informed. I may even overshare, but it's worth it. You can also start small. My clients, Mike and Rebecca, they were really apprehensive about sharing too much information, so they started by discussing small things, general financial goals, values, before diving into the big specific picture. It made the tougher conversations easier over time. You also might want to consider sharing updates on accounts and passwords to ensure that your children or a trusted person have what they need to access all the accounts. There's apps like LastPass or other secure tools that can help keep passwords and other account information organized. And the last thing is to check, double check, and triple check. Just because you have a fancy binder from the estate lawyer, it does not mean everything is set. When Jill's dad passed away, we needed new estate documents for her mother. We realized at nearly the last minute that some accounts were not titled correctly, even though the estate documents were all in good working order. So we had to scramble to fix things as my mother-in-law's health was failing. I was literally working on this while we were saying our goodbyes. It was that close. So please check, double check, triple check that everything is truly in order, is as you think it is. Here's something my dad and I did, which will make life a ton easier now that he's passed. We put my name on his bank account. When a parent passes, trying to access their bank accounts can be a nightmare. Adding a trusted adult child as a co-owner makes everything seamless. No legal battles, no delays. All I have to do now, and this will be a lot of fun, is bring his death certificate to the bank and he'll be taken off the account. I can continue to pay his bills. I know, great fun. So there's a study that I saw, a 2022 survey, that shows that about 68% of Americans struggle with financial issues when a parent passes, often because they were left in the dark about accounts or debts or investments. So please start the conversation now. Show them where the accounts are, where the bodies are buried. Give them access if needed. Make a simple estate plan. It's not about giving up control. It's about making things easier when the time comes. So here's some final thoughts. Life is short. Live it well. Losing 3 parents in 14 months has been brutal, but it has also been eye-opening. If there's one thing I've learned is this: life is short and time is precious. Spend your money while you can enjoy it. Do the things that make you happy. Plan ahead so your loved ones don't have to clean up your mess. And most of all, do not wait, because one day you'll run out of tomorrows. Rest in peace, treasured parents. We will miss you. And thanks for watching.